Hey, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to Top3Tech. I'm Jerry, and I don't know if you guys have been trying to get a GPU recently, but if you've noticed, the market for it has been a ghost town. And luckily for me, I found a ghost, the Phantom Gaming AsRock 6700XT. Let's get it. And so one of the important things you guys probably want to know before you purchase a graphics card, I know a lot of times you guys are pretty much going to get whatever you can get your hands on, but since you guys are waiting anyways, or if you already got one, you can compare it to whatever brand you got. We're going to see what's inside before we do the benchmarks. This is a open box and a review and a benchmark, so let's check out this. Well, it already looks nicer than that Pulse box. I don't know if you guys remember watching that. If you do, go ahead and click on the top right. It'll take you to that video. But let's get this going. Let's see. Alright, so let's see what's inside here. So, it comes with this quick installation guide. Foam. Oh my goodness. I remember for the longest time I wanted a 5700 XT, so being able to get a 6700 XT is crazy. Is that everything? That's everything? the MSI 3060 Ti so far has the best content inside. And I gotta be very careful with this. This is not my GPU, this is my cousin's. So my cousin had previously opened this. There was some plastic covering these fans, but supposedly this is the Phantom Gaming 3 times cooling system. The best balance between thermal efficiency and silence, whatever that means. This fan right here lights up, that's why it's clear. And the Phantom Gaming on top lights up. It has this red Radeon lines. Right here is 3D. These protrude a little bit. It's actually pretty nice. There's black right there. So just giving you the physical review of the card. And then on the back right here it says fast, mysterious, unbeatable. I don't know if you guys could see that. Hopefully it's fast. I don't know why it says mysterious. I kind of want to know what's going on with my card. And unbeatable? I mean, let me try beating it with the hammer and see. But anyways, it has the AsRock right here. It has the LED on and off switch right there. And of course, it's the 16-pin to 8-pin cards. So it's pretty nice. It's got the 3 display ports, one HDMI 2.1 port. So if you got 3 monitors, it needs to be the display ports for that to work. But it's a pretty nice card. It looks pretty dope. It came with a little, oh my goodness, what's the name of this?
PCIe slot cover?
Yeah, the PCIe slot cover. Thank you, cameraman. But it's a pretty nice card. So to start this lineup, we got the XFX RX 6700 XT, the Merc 319. Look at that. Then we have the AsRock Phantom Gaming 6700 XT. And we also have the AMD Radeon 6800 Sapphire Pulse. This one has no RGB on it. This one has a RGB fan in the middle and on the top. And this one has no RGB fans, but the letters light up. So that's just a quick comparison of these three. So the Merc 319 looks like it's the longest card, and the 6800 Sapphire Pulse and the AsRock are about the same size, or same length. So these are the fatties. Look at them, they're a little thick, but they all say Radeon. This one doesn't have the red letters on it, but the Phantom Gaming and the Sapphire do, so this might fit your build more. So it's hard for me to pick which one I like the most out of the designs on the back. I really like the Merc, how it stands out, and how it has the XFX etched on there. The Phantom Gaming looks pretty dope as well. I don't like the Fast Mysterious Unbeatable. That's a little odd, but I mean, that can't be too bad. I really like the Sapphire Pulse design. It's kind of simple, but I mean, it looks pretty dope. I guess my favorite would be the Sapphire Pulse. Maybe I'm biased. Which one do you like? Which design of the back do you like better, Anthony?
The back plate? I really like the Merc.
The Merc? Yeah, that looks crazy. But they're all nice cards. It's really hard to pick between the three. They all got their features that look dope. The side of the Merc looks the best because these you can't even tell. So hope you guys are hungry. We made you guys a GPU sandwich, the triple decker. The Sapphire has Sapphire right there. It has an S in the middle. The Phantom Gaming, trying to see, it just has the arrow, makes the arrow design. It says Phantom Gaming as well. I was trying to see if there was some mysterious symbol in there. And then XFX is upside down, but I'm not too sure if that'll fix itself or not once we put it in there. But those are your cards. Okay. Let's see how they go. And this is the final look of it installed inside the Lian Li Lancool 2. Look at that. It's a nice looking card, and we're about to go and test the benchmark results. So let's see what happens. Okay guys, here's what you've been waiting for. The benchmark results. So before, on the last video of the 6800 versus the 3060 Ti, I had a Radeon, not a Radeon, I'm sorry, I had a Ryzen 3600. I recently switched to the Ryzen 6800, so there's going to be a difference there. That's why the results of the 6800, the Sapphire Pulse, are going to be a little higher than before. But I mean, hey, it's always good to upgrade. So unfortunately, I don't have the 3060 Ti listed because those results would be different than what we got now. But let's start this off with it's going to be the AsRock Phantom Gaming. It's the RX 6700 XT. It has a 22 megahertz boost clock, 12 gigabyte DDR6 memory. It is on the RDNA 2 architecture, and it has one HDMI 2.0 port. Sorry guys, 3 display ports, 1.4, and then the minimum PSU that you can have is 650 watt. And we're going to be comparing it today to with the XFX Speedster Merc 319. It is also the RX 6700 XT. The boost clocks can go up to 2622 megahertz. It is a 12 gigabyte DDR6 memory. Same thing, it's on the RDNA2 architecture, has the same amount of HDMIs, display ports, and 650 watt PSU. And we're also comparing it to the Sapphire Pulse RX 6800. Strange enough, it says that the highest boost clock this has is 2310, which is considerably lower than the other two, but it also has 16 gigabyte DDR6 memory, so it has that advantage there big time. It's also on the RDNA2 architecture, and everything else is the same. So who's going to win between these? We will find out. There's about $100 difference between the AsRock Phantom Gaming and the XFX Speedster. The Speedster was my cousin's, like I said. So he spent, the Speedster, or the Merc 319 is my card, which I'm going to sell to my friend. And his is the Phantom Gaming. $100 difference, so it's I'll let you guys see the results, and I'll let you know what I think about it at the end. But it is a little crazy. So we first start off with the MSI combustor. That is the MSI's their little graphics generator. You know, that way if you're running stuff, you could check to see if, like when you're overclocking your card, if it's messing up or something. But the Sapphire Pulse 6800 at 1440p, average 43 frames per second. The AsRock Phantom Gaming, the 6700 XT, average 38 frames per second. And the XFX Merc 319, average 6700, oh my goodness, average 39 frames per second. Sorry about that, guys. I'm a little tired. But at 1080p, the Sapphire Pulse 6800 averaged 49 frames per second. The AsRock Phantom Gaming averaged 43 frames per second. And the Merc 319 averaged 44 frames per second. So when I first saw this, I was like, wow, not only was the XFX cheaper, but it's also going to do better. I wonder if that was going to be the results until the end. But once I did my second benchmark on Gears 5 on the Ultra preset, it showed the actual difference. The Sapphire Pulse 6800 at 1440p came in at 95.1 frames per second average. The AsRock Phantom Gaming 6700 XT came in at 79.1 frames per second. The XFX Merc 319 6700 XT came in at 77.2 frames per second. And at 1080p, the Sapphire Pulse came in at 124.8 average frames per second. The AsRock Phantom Gaming came in at 109.2 frames per second, and then the Merc came in at 108.7 frames per second. So far between the Phantom Gaming and the Merc, it's about 1 frame difference at 1080p, 2 frame difference at 2K or 1440p, and about 20 frame difference between the Pulse and the 6800 and the 6700s. And then we go to Forza Horizon 4, which broke my charts. So I'm going to have to make brand new charts after this. Like I said, with the new 5800, it kind of messed things up. But the Sapphire Pulse 6800, it messed things up for the better. It came in at 1440p at 173.5 frames per second. The AsRock Phantom Gaming 6700 XT came in at 138.2 frames per second. And then the Merc actually tied with the exact same frames. So at 1440p, that's pretty good. The Sapphire Pulse 6800 at 1080p came in at 207.3 frames per second. The AsRock Phantom Gaming came in at 167.3 frames per second, and then the Merc came in at 166.2 frames per second. So, like I said, it's about 1 frame difference. This one was pretty much the same at 1440p. They tied. And then after that, we got the Call of Duty Cold War. It was at ultra settings campaign. I tested it on the second mission. But the Sapphire Pulse 6800 at 1440p came in at 108 frames per second. The AsRock Phantom Gaming 6700 XT came in at 87 frames per second. And the XFX Merc came in at 86 frames per second. So there's that 1 frame difference again. And at 1080p, the Pulse came in at 139 frames per second. The The AsRock Phantom Gaming came in at 6700. Oh my goodness, I did it again, you guys. It came in at 115 frames per second, and then the Merc did the exact same thing, 115 frames per second. So there's not too much of a difference between those cards. I wish I had a reference card so we can compare that, but in time. The Sapphire Pulse 6800 came in at 153 frames per second, 1440p on Call of Duty Warzone high settings. The AsRock Phantom Gaming came in at 141 frames per second, and then the Merc behind them at 140 frames per second. At 1080p, the Sapphire Pulse came in at 180 frames per second. The AsRock Phantom Gaming came in at 163 frames per second, and the XFX Merc came in at 160 frames per second. So this was, I guess, the biggest discrepancy between them. And Cyberpunk at the Ultra preset, we have it at 1440p and at 1080p, but at 1440p, the Sapphire Pulse 6800 came in at 64 frames per second. The AsRock Phantom Gaming 6700XT came in at 55 frames per second. And the XFX Merc 319 6700XT came in at 53 frames per second. At 1080p, the Sapphire Pulse came in at 78 frames per second. The AsRock Phantom Gaming came in at 79.8 frames per second. It actually beat the 6800. I don't know what was up with the 6800 at 1080p. I don't know if that's just the CPU at that point, but it tied with the Merc. So I thought that was kind of odd, but hey, whatever. Those were the results on that. So for it being $100 difference between the Merc and the Phantom Gaming, I would recommend the Merc, but the Phantom Gaming does look nicer. And luckily with my cousin, he has the AsRock Steel Series or the Steel Legend, the B550, so it ended up working with all his software, his RGB software, so he could link it all up. But if you don't have a AsRock motherboard, you might be better off just going with the Merc. I'll do the unboxing of that next week, so make sure you guys tune in to check that out. I have the Sapphire Pulse one available from last week too, so you guys can check that out if you want. The Pulse came in at about $880, so from $630 is what the Merc came in. The AsRock was at around $730, and then the Pulse was at $880. That's about a $200 difference. You guys make of that whether it's worth it or not. I wouldn't recommend the Pulse at that price. The Merc is actually the best bang for your buck out of these three so far, but it's your guys' world. Get whatever you can. It's hard to come by GPUs, so I can't really judge anyone. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, tune in next week to catch the XFX Merc 319 unboxing. You guys got a sneak peek of it here today. But I hope you guys have a good day. And make sure to hit like and subscribe. Catch you guys later. Peace. AsRock's 57... AsRock 6700 XT. Let's get it. So all three of these are little thick boys. Alright, cut.